I'm Wally Adamczyk, president of Firestarter Speaking and Consulting, and welcome to Nothing Builds Itself, where today we're getting some more tips from the top contractors to work for in the United States, and now we're going to hear from Hoopaugh Grading Company based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hoopaugh specializes in site development in North and South Carolina. Established in 1953, today they employ nearly 450 people. Over the years, Hoopaugh has worked to establish a good reputation within the community and to provide unparalleled customer service to their clients. When I caught up with Brian McManus, president, he was driving to a job site. His connection to the work and to the folks doing the work is strong. In fact, like many, he never considered a career in construction, but an instructor in junior college, a mentor, took an interest in him and encouraged him to attend university. He graduated from the University of South Carolina with a civil engineering degree, and he got to work. He did some design work, but it wasn't that fun for him. About the same time, his firm was working on a job where Hoopaugh was the site contractor. The Hoopaugh project manager asked if Brian knew anyone who might like to come to work for them. Brian thought for a minute, and he offered himself. The rest, as they say, is history. When I asked him to comment on the journey to being a top place, he immediately credited Brandon Lindsay with the idea. Brandon is the vice president. Later, when I talked to Brandon, he gave all credit to what Brian had already established. Right off the bat, we see a clear focus on teamwork, results orientation, and personal humility. Brian then went on to say that their core values are at the center of all they do. These were generated in 2017. They created a team of people, and the team then described 50 exemplary people in the company. They then looked at their common traits, called the list, and then derived these 5 values. We do what it takes. We are dependable. We are respectful. We keep things simple. And we do all things with integrity. Brian says, we always had a good team, but to see it all come together in writing really pulled everyone together, and it made it even more attractive for people. Hear it from Brandon. And as you listen, you will learn a bit more about leadership and success.
With my experience in Martin Marietta, I had been around, just kind of like yourself, I've been around construction companies all over the place, and had seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different styles, a lot of different companies. And there's not one that I would rather join than Hoopaugh because they had something special. And you could see it from the outside. You saw that they were doing something different. And I had the opportunity to join Brian in the team, and I jumped on it.
So things are great at Martin Marietta. And how does this opportunity come open for you?
Yeah, so it was crazy. The Dream on 3 thing came along first while it went. My wife.
Say that slower so everybody hears it. The
Dream on 3.
Dream on 3.
Yeah, the whole concept comes from the concept of a sports total. 1, 2, 3 dream, and we did this to make sports dreams come true for kids with uphill medical challenges, and just kind of came from nowhere. Came when I was working at Martin Marietta. It blindsided me, and while it just really gave me a different definition of success. There I was, probably, at the time I was about 38 years old when Dream on 3 was laid on my heart. And my definition of success was to climb that corporate ladder as fast and as high as I could. I actually left Martin Marietta thinking that I was going to do that. That's where I was getting out of corporate, and I was going straight into this, and I was going to be all in. And then Brian called me from Hoopaugh Grading and said, "Hey, man, let's meet. There may be a way that you can continue to do both." And so we met, and we inked out a deal on a cocktail napkin, and just were really excited about being able to grow. He was experiencing some pretty rapid growth with Hoopaugh Grading, and just needed help being able to pull it together and to build a team. And so I joined the team, and it's been fantastic.
As you listen to Brandon in this next part, listen for the humility as he comments on Brian saying he was the reason for the awards.
So this is the second year we received Top Workplace, and
Yep.
then we also received through the Charlotte Business Journal Best Place to Work for the first time, and so just an honor. And Brian says that, and he is, and I'm totally not comfortable with it, and I can tell he's not either. While I will tell you, I had nothing to do with us getting those awards. It was the company was doing some great things. They were already a top workplace.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was able to help them do was tell the story.
Yeah.
And the story was already there. Just we needed people to do it and to know about it. And so we built a brand.
How did the team react when you said, hey, we're going to give this a shot?
No one really knew. They had never gone through anything like this. They thought it was a little crazy. And they thought, hey, here's this new guy coming in from Martin Marietta. We're turning corporate. And I said, I assure you, that's the last thing that we want. Don't change. Let's tell our story. We've got something great here, and let's tell it. And then, so there was resistance.
Was it your idea then? I mean, somebody had the idea.
Well, that was a goal of the company. So when I joined Hoopaugh, Brian said, these are our goals. And one of them was, we want this to be the best place to work. I don't know that he was thinking about an award and it actually being on it, but he wanted Hoopaugh to be known as the top workplace, and he wanted people to be happy working.
So now you get the designation, right? Everyone thought, okay, this new guy's a little crazy, but we're going to, all right, I'll take the survey they send me and I'll do the interview. And what was the response when,
Everyone was excited. They were so happy. And I don't think they saw that it was possible. They really thought we'll do this, but to not only win it, but to know who else was in there, that you're not just competing with other grading companies. You're competing with the banks. You're competing with corporate America. You're competing with these companies that are nationally recognized. And here you got Hoopaugh Grading up there nominated as a top workplace. And there was a huge sense of pride and accomplishment that went along with that.
All right. So then you say, all right, we're going to do it again. And any eye rolls, or it's like, yeah, let's keep going.
Oh yeah, no. Now it's competitive. Now they don't want to lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now all of a sudden the word's out. And the word was out all along within the industry. Do you have much trouble finding people?
That was one of the great things about this, is that when we were finally able to build that brand and tell the story of Hoopaugh Grading, it's we had people wanting to be a part of this, just like I did 2.5 years ago. People wanted to be on a team like that and wanted to be part of a culture like that. And so, no, we had people. When I came in 2.5 years ago, we had a lot of seats to fill, and we couldn't get people. And I'm sure you hear this all over the industry, can't find people. Well, we started making some of these changes, and we got the awards, and people started seeing our names out there, and we had people standing in line wanting to be a part of this team. And so it got a little easier for us.
The funny thing is, and I've had a lot of these conversations with contractors across the country, and that's a common theme. Attracting becomes a heck of a lot easier when people know you are, and the word is out there, et cetera. So, okay, you had some opportunity, some openings, people are coming in. How do you quote onboard those folks?
So the onboarding is, it all starts with core values. Like, you need to know what you're getting into. Let us tell you who we are and what makes us special. And so we live by a set of core values. It's 5 core values that it doesn't matter if you're talking to Brian McManus, the owner of the company, or the guy that just joined 30 days ago. They all know the core values, and they know how they apply in their jobs. And so we start there. And we teach the core values. We train on core values. And then we get into the job technical pieces of it. But while we really try to be a teaching company and to train and educate, but we start with core values in the onboarding.
So is that a class, and who teaches it, and what is that? So here I am, I walk in the door on day one, and I sign that paperwork that says, here's where my W-2 is, and here's my health care and all that stuff. What does that look like?
What's next? Yeah, so you actually get the opportunity to sit down, and you'll meet with the various leadership members. You'll meet with Brian. You'll meet with myself. You'll meet with our vice president of construction. You'll go around and you'll talk to them, and you'll hear those core values, and you'll hear pieces of what they do. And but you actually make the rounds and talk to everyone and see the different departments. And then that way it allows us to be able to walk alongside of those new employees over those first 90 days, really make sure that they're comfortable, safe. And
all employees?
Well, I can't do them all, but we keep an eye on they. We identify these are new ones, and they wear a different color hat.
Yep.
We're all stepping out on the job site. We can see them. We can walk up to them and we can say, "How's it going? What do you have questions on? What are you struggling with? Where do you need help?" And so we really try to focus on those new ones and making them feel part of the team early on.
When I talked to Brian, he commented that in the 2008 downturn, they learned a lot that caused us to change, and that helps now. He says the labor market has not been tough for them. People come to them. But back then, they needed to cut from 85 to 55 people, and they learned a lot about efficiency and controls. But more important, they learned about transparency with clear expectations. He also confesses there might have been a little bit of a dictator mentality from too many people back then. He says today we get way more done now with buy-in, and training is a big part of that. As we built up back in 2010, we needed to teach people how to build people. We manage tasks, but we lead people and train how to do both. Millennials are great if you train them, he says. So you mentioned training, and I know you have the academy. What does that piece of the company look like?
Yeah, that's a vision of Brian's, and I'll give him credit. That's one of those investments that's hard for people to make sometimes. You don't see a lot of construction companies that invest in training. And to Brian's credit, he has been speaking that since the day I met him, that he is all about the people and investing in the people and giving them the tools that they need to be the absolute best that they can be. And so this vision of the HGC Leadership Training Academy has been out there for a long time, and then we are just now seeing it come to life. We've secured the space, we've secured the team development group. We're creating the training courses. We've bought the simulators, and so we're going to be, when it rains, Wiley, we're going to train.
What about, the leadership side as people step into these positions of increased responsibility? How do you help them do that?
Yeah, so we've implemented over the last 18 months, we've implemented two different programs. One of them is our HGC apprenticeship, where we've got people from, some of the new employees that I talked to you about, where we'll take them through a 3-year program that teaches them the HGC way, our core values, but how to do the job and how to operate all the equipment. And so they're investing in a 3-year program, and we're investing back into them that shows them a career path and pay scale. And then we have our HGC Leadership Academy. So our core managers, we meet once a month, and we have various training programs where, we've discussed things like we focus on communication. We've gone through the DISC profiling.
All right, let's recap where we stand. It was because of a mentor that Brian McManus pursued a college degree. Who are you mentoring? Brian and Brandon both display a strong sense of humility. This is a trait of many outstanding leaders. There's even a chapter in my book, Construction Leadership from A to Z, where we talk about that concept. Onboarding. It's about how do we get people in and feeling like they're part of the solution and getting better each day. All right, that's it for today. Make sure you subscribe so you're notified next week for part 2, where we will talk about safety, benefits, and community pride.